it's Jen Suzuki, and I'm in the industry. I meet some of the greatest leaders out there, dealer execs, dealers, GMs, and I'm bringing them in the studio to talk to me about what's making their business pop, what's accelerating their growth. I'm sharing my own personal strategies for your sales teams, so I'm ready to get after it. Are you?
Well, welcome back, everybody, to Dealer Talk with Jen Suzuki. Of course, I'm Jen Suzuki, and I have a friend, a colleague, Daniel, with me today. And so Daniel and I worked together for many, many years. He was a general manager of a high-performing Mercedes-Benz dealership in Ohio, and I wanted to bring him on because he just picks up the phone, I pick up the phone, and we talk about things that are evolving in the industry all the time. And then I always find so much inspiration when I talk to him because he's always up to something in really the same mission I'm on, which is how can we help dealers perform better? And he has different skill sets than I do. And so we got to talking about just communications and things that he's uncovering in the dealerships that he's working in. And he's in, I don't know if this is the exact term, but I would call him a fractional COO at this time. He works with a lot of different dealers and he's helping them with a lot of different projects. And so I'm going to target a few things that I'm hoping to have him talk about that he's uncovered while working in these high-performing stores. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm listening to your stuff always, right? So, I mean, I'm going off, when I listen to your stuff, it's actionable intel. So when I'm in stores, I'm thinking about what you said.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, hey, somebody's listening.
Just between us.
Well, tell me. Okay, so tell me a little bit about your background. Tell me a little about how you've managed to navigate into doing a lot more consulting work in dealerships across the country. And I asked you, do you have room for a couple more? Just because I've got dealer clients that I feel this is a very relevant position. And it also, you're so fresh being out there. I know that feeling. But I know you maybe you have a room for a couple more. But hit me with some of the targets that you're seeing as you're uncovering these into dealerships with their leadership teams, and what are you finding? What do we got to do? Show me how to make money.
Yeah, I mean, the first two groups were a guy, went to any day school with one, and the other worked with in the space, and he's actually on the Wheelhouse when we were doing that podcast. And both, I mean, it started out from dealers that wanted me, very graciously wanted me to relocate and come work for them, and from a personal circumstance right now, just can't do that. But, so then these guys were the ones, I got to give them credit. They were the ones that were forward thinking and said, well, work with us, give us fractional, help us be in the store when you can be in the store. Make sure you connect well enough with everyone in the store. So when you're not here, you can communicate carte blanche with anybody, do any meetings you need to do, anything like that, and help across the board. And they're two very different scenarios. One is Central Texas, lots of space.
Yeah.
The others, Northern New Jersey, Manhattan, no space. But both of them sell a lot of cars, and you travel more than I do. You see that there's similar problems in different places. It might look different, but essentially, the root of it's a lot the same. With them, Matt, hopefully, if you can join us here in a little bit, with his store, stores was really taking a look at one of his campuses and saying, here's our financials, and doing an analysis to say where did we lose the most? Where do we need to be profitable? So going from that to forecasting. So working on expense forecasting before we even get to cutting, right? Expense forecasting, profit forecasting, service parts forecasting. Okay, well, that's well enough and good, but then you need to look at what's the gap between them. What do you do then? How do you make the gap? What do you need to go down to the ground level and do that? So it starts very high up. But you end up right in the salespeople in their office. You end up right in the service drive, right? Because that's ultimately where the magic happens.
Right.
That's where the magic happens. But for me, because I want to make sure that I'm of value, so it has to be tied to what the dealer's making net. So it's not just that I want to just be there and say X, Y, and Z. I want to be able to see it, observe it, tell you what I'm seeing, see where your head's at, and then let's forecast, see what the gap is. And then when you see that what your returns, you should be seeing returns. And when you see those returns, ultimately, that's the only thing that I'm asking for any relevancy, because if I'm not helping you make that and keep it, then I'm not as relevant. Right. So then a lot of what we, so it's really taking something from the ground up, and it's no different than you've talked about many times, dealers that have been very successful in the past few years, and all of a sudden the wheels came off and they're coasting, and that doesn't work right now. It's not going to work for the foreseeable future.
So I don't know if this is something that you've noticed, but for me, I started instituting a daily schedule, and I got this actually from one of my dealer clients. He was like, we just got to get these guys on course. They come in and it's coffee, 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 and it's just mingle, 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 and I feel like nobody knows what to do. And I had to say, I had to agree. I was like, it does look that way because there's a lot of people sitting around and not a lot of people really looking like they're hustlers. I mean, we need hustlers. Where's that hustler mentality we used to have, and so for me, it's, but I put together a schedule for salespeople, for managers, so that, when they came in, it was productivity, high efficiency. Everybody knows what the target is. They know what they got to do today. And it's starting to walk them through what a productive day looks like. And look, the real, we know the deals are going to cross our desk. So we're going to get, derailed from what our schedule might look like. But look, most people don't even have a schedule. They're just coming in and they're doing what they got to do. But how do we have time, to internally talk about what will help motivate our team members today, or what are our targets that we're falling short on? And it can't just be like little pep rallies. I'm always like, in these meetings, we got to find our MVP, we got to praise, we got to do contests, we got to get people engaging in solutions. It just can't be like, put these cars back. It can't just be like, save a deal for the next hour and a half. There has to be more. Hey, by the way, Matt Haiken just arrived. Also, friend, colleague, dealer up north. And hello, welcome to our conversation we've just ignited over internal communications in the dealership. Me. Well, crazy.
Sorry, I'm late, but I'm cracking up on our uniform. I guess we all got the memo. We're all wearing the same outfit.
Oh my God, we are.
Well, at least you're not wearing a suit and tie today. Look at you.
I'm not wearing a suit and tie. Hey guys, but I just caught what you're talking about, and that is like, oh my God, that's like my daily. It's so spot on.
Yeah, but so what strategies do you put in place to, keep people internally talking about clear and timely and effective, conversation?
The thing that we start with everybody from Matt on down to his managers is the thing that they didn't tell me, and I wish I understood it sooner. When you start out in the car business, you have the least amount of control over your time. And you're waiting for an appointment to come in, or you're on a test drive, or whatever, you have to go move a car, anything like that. And then the rest of the time you have is you're waiting, and you don't ultimately, maybe you're more productive than some, but as you grow up the ladder, you have more control over your time. But nobody's going to come and tell you have control over your time. It's just up to you to do it. And then, so let's actually focus on the metrics that matter, right? So starting from the top up, right? Matt, do you want to say what you used to do every morning?
I mean, where do you want me to start? You want me to tell you?
Matt would price cars in Viato.
Exactly.
Okay.
At 5 a.m. 5 a.m.
5 a.m. Matt's an owner. That's what he does. He gets into Viato. He starts pricing cars.
Okay.
And again, like, it doesn't make me a bad person, but I'm an addict, and, again, like, Jen, you were with us in COVID, right?
Yeah.
And what happened in COVID? Like, I just jumped in there. I ran the show and I quarterbacked the show, and it worked. Right. And that worked for me in 2008. But now I've got 6 locations, and God. I can't use those same tools that I used in 2008 and COVID that I need to use in this crazy market that nobody knows, from week to month, what's happening. And so I need a different set of tools as a dealer, to really keep that success. And again, like, someone would say, oh, just go back to where you were in COVID
No, you can't do that. Nobody wants to go.
I can't do that. I can't.
No, we're in a different world now.
Totally different world.
Yeah, you got to reinvent now. You have to move forward, modifying everything that you want it to be.
That's it. And you know what? Sometimes a market like this, a tough market, is a blessing, because without it, you get kind of lackadaisical, and you hey, I price cars every day, and this is what works, and But again, I personally thrive off of these challenges, and I really my team and the energy in my store, and they could accomplish anything that we put to them. And
so, So let's just lock in. So if we're talking about internal communications and even where your time is spent, and I see that you dial into Viato, and maybe there's a message here for us with starting off your day and having multiple locations and thinking about our team members' efficiency throughout the day and productivity. How do you guys address stuff like this right now? Or what have you seen working? Because again, you don't want people sitting around on that downtime, and you want to continue to reinvent yourself. You want to push people forward. You really want to get behind your leadership and encourage them, to be trying new products, to be looking to streamline. I mean, for me, every CEO out there has to be looking at AI as a hybrid to their team members' success and integrating ways to become more efficient. But for me, if you don't have these conversations, or if you're not encouraging your team members to learn these tools, to learn this technology, to dive in, well, how are they going to support your future?
How's the day start now, Matt?
Well, I think the first step is you have to be willing to be so transparent in your financials and your targets and sharing information. I came up in an age where nobody looked at the financial statement but the dealer principal and the controller, and they did, and they say this at Dealer Academy, right? Top left, bottom right? Cash and bank, net, let's go to the boat. Let's go play golf. I mean, nobody else had access to the data. And again, I don't think you could have real managers that can make decisions on profit, expense, and people without being have a commitment. I'm going to share everything, and I'm not afraid. So I think that's the first step. And then, letting people understand how, listen, we've got 5 profit centers. Every department stands on its own. Absorption, that's an easy concept for a dealer or someone who's been through the academies. But it takes I think a while for people to understand those concepts, and just constant focusing on, okay, listen, this is a goal. We're going to work on a forecast and a target, and we're going to talk about it every day. Because I mean, the old Matt would just gunsling, and 3 weeks through the month we're not hitting our targets or forecasts. What's the plan? All right, hit the phones. All right, hit the leads. Call up the ad agency and let's see if we can do a new mailer telling people that we're going to give them X over KBB for their trade. I mean, it was just complete gunslinging. And, we're the only industry on the planet that does stuff like that. And one thing that Dan and I always talk about, and I use the metaphor, let's just say we're not auto dealers, and let's just say we work for the factory. Yeah. If I'm that factory rep and my forecast is 50% off of where I'm going to be, I'm not just hitting the phones. I need a plan in an hour.
Oh, yeah.
And if I don't have a plan in writing, I'm going to get fired. And, my family's going to be on the street. And again, this is not my content. This is what Dan and I are collaborating with daily.
I got you.
And I just kind of use that as a metaphor so my people understand. Because if I ask them for a plan and I need a plan in an hour and they physically can't do that, and a lot of people can't, they don't know how to do that. But I mean, we're the only industry that pays so well, and people have there's no cap on what they could do, but they also have no accountability. They have no accountability. We've never set accountability like this. And it's kind of kind of nuts. If you went to a sales executive at Salesforce or any of these, at a medical,
right?
And they didn't have a plan,
for sure,
they wouldn't be there.
No way.
So, and I'm not blaming anyone. I blame myself. I mean, this is a problem with everyone, but it's something that we're focused on now.
So look, you have a lot of people swinging through that door. A lot of people calling. It's a lot of moving parts. It's not like Salesforce. They sell software. It's just this is real face-to-face stuff. Sorry to cut you off there.
No,
Daniel.
No, so the day starts. So the day starts now, and
we're wearing the same outfit. I can't get over it. It's so funny.
And we're not even in the same state this time.
No.
So the day starts now. Matt looks at metrics from reverse risk.
Okay.
Right, to understand the doc, right? Let's look at the doc. Let's look at some leading metrics from, or lag metrics from service and sales. Let's see what actually got delivered. If it's not delivered, if it's not through finance, okay, it's not through accounting, fine. But if it's not through finance, it didn't happen. What ROs actually got closed? And then his CRM is drive centric. So then he looks at a few specific metrics in drive centric, right? So like what got confirmed, what they did with the leads that they had, how many videos they sent out, were the videos viewed, things like. So I'm actually like building a dashboard that can be then, because right now, right, there's so many dealerships. Matt's was one of those. Like the business ran on a WhatsApp group where every manager sent in what they thought their numbers were that day. And like, that's how the company ran. And so I want to build a dashboard where you have to enter your actual numbers too, but it makes it really clean, very easy, right? Like eight things that as an owner, as a GM, as a VP, as a platform manager, you can log into and see how your business is running. I saw it in healthcare and it's like, this is exactly what I want to do. And then that way, because right, we're herding cats. It's a full-time cat herder and a part-time plumber.
There's a lot of systems too. It's a lot of logins. It's a lot of information. And you just want a snapshot.
The information is there. You just have to, but it's not, I don't need Matt going down into like the depths of every single thing. I need him to be able to see enough of it so that he can ask the right questions. Good data should give you good questions to ask. And then, like, let's communicate with everyone what we're looking at so that they become familiar with it. And and your people, if you've got engaged people, they want to know what you're looking at. They want to understand the systems that you have. Because then I hear so many times, like, and now it's cool because I get to hear it from the vendor side, right? And it's like, yeah, we don't understand why it's just not catching on there. We don't understand why it churned or why this and that. It's like, I see it in the store. I can, I'm helping you re-engage. And so like DriveCentric has been a great partner to help re-engage the staff that's there to understand this is the tool you have to help communicate with your clientele. Next, we got to worry about if you know what to say to your clients. So, like my things to never say, I think we agree on this, like just following up, just checking in. And if you had any questions, like, just never want to hear that. Don't say
touching base. You forgot touching base.
Oh, I did forget touching base. You're right. I left that one.
And just to, like, for all the vendors out there, like, I would love the ability when that goes out from one of my staff in a text, in an email, in a phone call. I mean, we're using all these systems that are now monitoring all this data. Like, give me a what the WTF when that happens. Like, what? I watch it. I read text message and email still and do quick audits of that. And we see that every single day. Like, they should not, like, Drive should not let us write an email like that. They should, like, when you hit that genius button, it should be like, no, we're going to add value here. A little gen pop-up. All right.
That makes sense.
You should sell that.
But if managers don't know what to say, they can't tell salespeople what to say. And they've got to do it together. So they know, watch me fail, watch me succeed, right? Learn from me, do it better. And let me show you what I do to prep for a call. Let me show you how I use AI to give me an idea of a script. Let me show you what I look at in the client's history. Let me see what updates this is from the book of Jen. I got to call you with something of value because I can't just call you and say like, hey, how's it going?
No, I mean, you got a meaningful context today. 2025, my strategy is tailored experiences. I'm going to say it over and over and over until we finally have tailored experiences because that's what people want. I mean, if you don't go in there and you find information to customize your conversations, people are going to first, everybody can sniff out AI. So, I mean, and by the way, a lot of people don't even understand how to leverage it. Now, DriveCentric's a great CRM because it's already in your tool. However, you still have to know how to use these tools. You guys would be so surprised at how many people have no idea what ChatGPT is. In the dealerships, for me, I can't even fathom crushing sales without it. Anybody got time to be crafting messages? All I have to do is read ChatGPT what I see in the CRM today. You have to teach them this. You have to teach them how to use it. And you got to make this fun and engaging and have contests and get people executing because there's no need to be crafting pushing out templates or having to craft messages one by one. I mean, I just spit my lyrics into the ChatGPT with very specific information out of that CRM, and boom, I got myself a custom message. I couldn't have wrote it any better. And I'm saving time along the way. But, you have to have time for these things, this sort of a learning to take place. Yeah. And this is really, I think what you're talking about, it's not just like I have a targeted schedule for the day, as a leader or even as a team member, I also have to have room for growth where you're pressing these guys. These guys don't learn some new skills when it comes to AI, they're going to be pushed out.
Can we just touch upon tailored experiences?
Yeah.
So, I mean, Tesla is kicking ass, right? So much market share. where would you put them on tailored experience? Because like for me, it's like no, it's like it's they're delivering so many cars.
Mm-hmm.
They literally like have the cars parked out there when they're doing the handover, and it's like there's no tailored experience. It's like, here are your keys, have a nice day. When it comes to pricing, it's like, okay, go on the website, figure out your own payment. If you have any questions, like it's like the opposite of tailored experience. No, or is their lack of tailored experience a really great tailored experience for somebody that just wants to do it themselves?
I mean, Tesla's not for everybody, number one. You know what I mean? It's not a car for everybody. But I can tell you that for us as dealers, I'm pro dealer. I mean, we still need people to come back for service. So those cars don't need a service department as much as, a gas powered car. So, we are reliant on loyalty. Without loyalty, the whole ship doesn't operate. You know what I mean? So, and look, I can tell you from personal experience with friends that have bought Teslas, they rave about Tesla. I don't think they wanted the tailored experience. Their tailored experience, and what I'm calling a tailored experience, with personalized touch, humans actually talking to you. But I would say that they like the streamlined part of it, which is what you experienced, Matt. I watched you guys crush and destroy over COVID, which was that, was that a tailored experience? I think it was, but it was also a hybrid of being able to put out a unit so wicked fast and so seamless. And that is what Tesla does. And people like that shit. They want to do this thing in like 20 minutes. And that's how long it takes to buy a car.
Yeah. Speed is
20 minutes.
100%.
100%. If we have the systems, we have the leeway to give people a level of experience. If we don't, it becomes transactional. And in the world of transactional, Tesla's king. So if you let someone out of your like circle of influence and they fall into just being transactional, right? Our transactional on the level of the bottom level, our transactional doesn't look as good as Tesla's transactional. And so then that's where you lose, and that's where their market share comes from. Could you define the amount of people that we push into a transactional or allow to be transactional? The total amount of customers is Tesla's market share. I don't know. It's an interesting thought. I think it's close. That's the amount of people that don't want to talk to anybody. Let me just order it through the app. I can see what I want. I know what it's going to be. I know when the car is going to be there.
All right, I guess I can. But I still think that consumers have questions. I hear it every day.
And you know how many people say that they had no fun picking up their Tesla? Because there is no fun.
No, that's not fun. No. And I wonder how many people return back and buy that car again. Do you know what I mean? Like, is there brand loyalty there? Because I can tell you this, a lot of my friends that bought Teslas, they had no idea what they were getting into. It was just a great idea. It was super easy. I bought the car in 20 minutes, I did it all on the app, on my paperwork. It was boom, 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 boom. Okay. They get into these cars and they can't find a charging station. They get in these cars and it doesn't have the range distance they were sold that they thought it was. They get into this cold weather. It reduces. Now they're looking around, waiting around for charging. I mean, I can't tell you, broken down on the side of the road, no charge. I'm like, it's just, there's so many things that I can tell you they're not buying another one.
Right. I mean, so that's the feedback loop though needs to be like, this is what, if your people are struggling with that, it's a legitimate thing to be struggling with. What's the feedback loop? So are the managers aware of it and they're helping them combat it and it's been successful, or it hasn't been as successful as they want it to be? Then what's the loop? And where do the managers go for that? And so then it's, so then the feedback loop goes back up to the top and comes back down. So you have to, and you don't have to have the answer for every single thing on earth, every single minute of the day. But if you don't, then the idea is that you promise that as a team now, we'll put our heads together and we will work on it, because we have to figure out how we present value. Value is something that only has it if it matters to you. How do we present value? How do we exceed your expectations for what that's worth? And then not falter on the actual person-to-person experience, because we have the benefit of having person-to-person experience or talking on the phone and I just think the point of AI, what I called you about the other day, was that everyone's emails and text messages now are being summarized. Either it's Apple Intelligence or Samsung something. And
I mean, Google, you just jump on Google now and it's boom. It's, it's recapping. Yeah.
And so I wanted to send you, so now you can send a dumb email with AI. I mean, you just had AI send a dumb email. Like that's right. So, I mean, the idea is like, your point is you have to set the role of what you want AI to look at it as, what do you want to actually target with the client, and then make sure that your value presentation is upfront in that first paragraph, and that it does look personalized, and then it does have something of actual value. Because I was going to screenshot this and send it to you. There's a company that I buy things from, and my Apple summary keeps telling me every time they send me an email, it keeps telling me check account alert status, security measures. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. So I click on it, and it's because it's not making any sense of what they're trying to sell me in the middle of it. It's going all the way down to the bottom where it can read what's at the bottom, where it always tells you, like, set up 2-factor authentication and you can change your password. That's what the summary is telling me, not telling me that there's 30% off and free shipping. So your message gets lost that much easier with AI. And to your point, like, have so much fun crafting AI. I mean, I've shown this to probably a dozen salespeople. I always want, I'd like to please tell me as my client loyalty specialist, help me craft a message to Jen, who's a loyal client, who I know has options and her lease is coming up, but she doesn't have to do anything if she doesn't want to. What are the best things that I can tell Jen? Also, please include at least one dad joke and 3 lines in pirate speak, and like see what happens. Or we had a salesperson at another store who's working with, like, he's like a local music producer. And I was like, what kind of music? He's telling me, he's like, he's big in like the hip hop rap scene. I was like, and I have a side gig where I do that too. And I was like, great. So let's open up ChatGPT and
pop it in there.
Pick an artist, right? So yeah, did we craft it wound up being a voicemail message and a text message that got him a call back using California Love? Yeah. I said, I want to give me the first 2 paragraphs of California Love, but I want to make it about how he needs to come back and talk to you about the Ford that he's been wanting to get and hasn't gotten, and why he should trade in.
That is aces. Wow. You just took this to a whole new level, my friend.
And I was like, if you want to, I'm like, can you drop the bars? And he's like, I can do that. He's like, I feel silly. This is about a car. And I was like, hey, you don't always get to choose what it is you're going to rap about.
Matt, are you guys doing this? Have you adopted this mentality yet?
Listen, I think that is like, I would say AI for experts. I think we're still at AI for beginners.
That's a fact.
ABC AI, ABC.
There's a couple manufacturers that I've been soliciting for like the last 5 years, and we've been like taking the dance. I think I might do that for them, to let them know that I'm the man to represent their brand in the tri-state area. I might have to take some of that for expanding our footprint. But
look, as we wind this out, and I want to tell you, I would love to do this again. There's several takeaways here. I'll let you target them, Daniel, if you like. But we started talking about schedules and really reinventing the dealership flow. Our day to day, what tools we use, how we want to operate. We don't have to go back to the old ways, but there has to be room in a person's day where we are focused on not just standard things that we do, but we have to. That was a fan-friggin-tastic example of imagine a 5-minute conversation like that, something that's very forward thinking, something that just blows people's minds, something that is crafty, clever. Now, I'm so inspired right now. If I was a salesperson, I literally would go back and I know exactly what to do. You showed me how to use AI. You showed me how to tailor it. You showed me how to be clever with it. You showed me how to actually execute. And it's activities like this for me that keep our front line savvy, professional, relevant, forward thinking. And that's what I want to put out there, because I think that if we are carving out time for this, we're carving out time for real, true, next level success with the people that we have in place. And we do have to challenge these guys to use their time wisely. But how would you recap it?
Yeah, I would take the live example from what Matt's his day is and what his stores are like, how they start out. So Matt's looking at the metrics that matter to running the business. His stores then also they used to have like a split schedule where some people start at 9, some people start at 11, some people start at 1. Now everybody starts at 9. They're not working any more hours. They can still have an early day and a day off, but now everybody starts at 9 for the purpose of them having a meeting. The check is then they call Matt after their meeting that they've had with sales and finance, and they say like, okay, we're ready for our call with you. Matt's first question is, tell me what you went over in your meeting. What did you guys talk about here? And then they already know what they're going to talk about on their meeting with Matt. And then, if Matt finds anything else that he wants to ask a question about, then fine. And so those meetings, so the sales meetings, 15 minutes to 30 minutes, Matt's meeting, same thing, could be 15, 20 minutes, could be 40 minutes, but they'll know it ahead of time as they get into the meeting. Well, now everybody started off the day looking at the same thing, going in the same direction.
Yeah.
And so now for the first hour of the day, we've structured something that they need to carry out through them by the end of the day. And until they know these things, what the cornerstones are. So now Matt's in a position where he can talk to a store and say, you guys are pacing back of forecast. I need an action plan. I needed 5 steps, at least what you're going to do. Tell me actionably, and it should be a measurable thing. What are you guys going to do to close the gap between forecast and your pace? And if that's not something that you've got yet, and if that's something that you can see that there's value in that, there's ways to do that there are some low lift, very high reward things that you can do with your people, and making sure that they've got the tools they need to succeed. And if they have the tool, please, let's make sure that they know how to use it, even if it's not their favorite, but that they use it and that they know how to use it, so that you're not signing on with vendors and canceling vendors. And because it's the software's fault or X, Y, and Z, that we really, really, really understand it. And this is also, as a side note, something I jab Matt about sometimes is I know that there's really shiny, cool things out there, but let's make sure that we're actually using the base model first thing that we have. And then we add on the shiny things after that. And if we're going to do that, we get that with the input of all the people that are going to use it.
Oh man, that was strong right there. Yeah, because, a lot of times we just pull products because we get sold. And then they just sit around, collect dust. Nobody uses them.
It's a good idea. It's a good product. Not saying it isn't, right? But you have to be ready to receive it and implement it.
Yeah. And getting everybody to be part of that decision is how you actually execute fast and actually get it to work for you. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I want to talk to you guys more. And
but you have more.
I'm going to leave you with this thought. I've been contemplating it. About keeping your jobs in the dealership through peer assessment instead of a regular peer assessment. What do you guys think? Let you ponder that thought. Next episode.
Look at Jen pushing them.
Yeah, because people will tell you what they want to tell you and get you to believe whatever they want to believe you, but the people that actually know if you're doing your job or not is your peers. Ooh, okay. Next episode.
Next episode.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate your time. It was fun. You guys are so much fun. Always fun.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
Nothing else. We're a good time.
That's true.
If you like these episodes and my sales game techniques, you should snatch up our latest dealer education program I'm hosting. It's called Jen's Remote Classes, and it's a 1-hour, once-a-week class with me alongside other dealerships, all pursuing the same end game to achieve top 10% status in your dealership. For more info, hit me up. All my contact info's in the show notes. I want to hear from you. And follow Dealer Talk with Jen Suzuki right now to get notified when episodes like this one drop. This is Jen on the podcast Dealer Talk with Jen Suzuki. See ya!